Wind, let's not even talk about it.
Crazy.
I mean, there was question, I don't think necessarily amongst Coach Gasso and staff members about this game. Been getting text messages, are they still playing?
Yeah.
Everybody wondering, and it is expected to die down as the sun starts to begin to set. As this one is whacked foul and out of play by Rodriguez, but sustained winds at about 25 to 30, some gusts up to 45 miles per hour, and it's blowing in from right field.
Yeah, it'll definitely play a big factor in tonight's game. I think if any ball gets caught up in the air, it's going to sail.
Lineup: Rodriguez, Kaysen, Anger, Stephanie Tapia in the cleanup spot as this one is sliced foul up onto the concourse by Emma Rodriguez. Got pretty heavy cloud cover. No threat of rain, just the wind. You know, it said the high temperature was 70 degrees. I've been awake since 7 a.m. It hasn't been above 44.
It has not quite made it there.
Yeah, and I'm told the experienced transfers coming in, Isabella Smith and Sam Landry, who's also been excellent for the Sooners. They are 1 and 2 in active career wins amongst Division I pitchers. And Sam Landry was brilliant over the weekend for Oklahoma in Fayetteville. There's Maddie Case on the left fielder.
Yeah, I think this pitching staff has really pieced it together well. The way that they kind of bounce off of each other is so good.
Foul tip that pops out of the glove of Corey Hicks, and some new faces, or at least young faces, in the lineup for Patty Gasso and the Sooners. We'll get to those in the bottom of the first inning. Maddie Kaysen out of Honey Grove, Texas, 5'3". That line of Oklahoma's defense, and it's all new. Hannah Core out there in center, Garcia, Ailana Agbayani playing second base, and Corey Hicks back there behind the plate tonight. Seen Isabella Emmerling behind the dish a lot. She's also brand new. Charlie Anger takes a first pitch strike.
Yeah, and I think it's so important for everybody to get an opportunity. I think these are the moments where you can really stand out and let Coach Gasso know, I deserve a spot. Keep giving me opportunities. This is a good opportunity for them to capitalize.
In the air, the wind's going to push this one toward the screen and over the screen. Sydney Barker over to have a look. A couple of regulars getting a break tonight, as Ella Parker is not in the regular Oklahoma lineup, and Sydney Sanders also getting the evening off. As you look at Sydney Barker there. And Anger fouls this one back. Charlie Anger, 5 home runs. That's the most in a season for a Lion since they went Division I. Now, 3 years ago, already the most home runs in a season. One and two the count on Anger. Brittany Miller said Anger's one who has an expressive personality. You'll see it out in the field. This one fouled off once again.
I think one thing in talking to them, this approach that you have to have when you're facing a team like Oklahoma is you've got to attack, and they've got to be patient in the box. Get good pitches to swing at.
Tapia nearly dropped one in for a base hit, but the speedy Hannah Core took it away. The very first Oklahoma softball game was played at Reeves Park.
Yeah.
And it was retold to us and stipulated that a day like this you would not have been able to play at Reeves Park. Would have been a little too dusty. I believe Jen Rocha was in that picture as well. But Marita Hines Field, though Love's Field is new, we're in the second season of it, it's still utilized for some of the classics and the tournaments that are held here in Norman each year.
Yeah, I think it's really neat to get to see the growth, because you look over across the street from Marita Hines and you get to see Reeves Park where it started. Then you get to see the growth over at Marita Hines and get to be a part of that as well. It is still utilized. I think they get to have some high school games there and do different youth events there. There's a lot going on. But then you get to come over to Love's Field and kind of put it all together of the history of the program and see it all kind of come to life. It's really unique and so special.
And Marita Hines was so instrumental in helping Patty Gasso build this Sooner program and all of women's sports at the University of Oklahoma. Sherry Cole and the Oklahoma women's basketball program as well, which, by the way, Oklahoma women's basketball hosting NCAA tournament first round games just across the street at the Lloyd Noble Center coming up on Saturday. I understand that there may be a guest appearance from Jenny Baranczyk, their head coach, a little bit later on tonight. Haley Montemayor, the shortstop, facing Isabella Smith. 3 for Isabella Smith. Five up and 5 down for Isabella Smith. She threw a perfect game with 8 strikeouts in her very first start as a Sooner against Cal Baptist. Tatum Wright hammers this one past third base. This Oklahoma pitching staff, ERA of 1.99, and I think the thing that would make Jennifer Rocha so pleased would be they've only given 37 walks. That's the fewest in the SEC.
Yeah, 37 walks to 171 strikeouts. That is a good ratio. Isabella Smith is really working her drop. We'll see her rise kind of sprinkle in, but she throws mid-60s, and then she's also able to throw in her off speed, and it'll drop the miles per hour down to about 60, low 60s.
1-1 is fouled out of play. Talking about Jennifer Rocha, the associate head coach and pitching coach, and there she is. Former Sooner pitcher herself. What an incredible job. And Oklahoma has now been able to get these transfers come in, like Sam Landry, who wanted to pitch for Jennifer Rocha. As this one is skied by right, the wind is going to blow this one. I would say that one was in play when it left the bat. It was on the infield, and it wound up in Noble, I think, gone. Good battle here between Tatum Wright and Isabella Smith. Wright has been on a roll. 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in last weekend in the Lions' sweep of Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Brittany Miller, we are asking her, and bases loaded, so it's back to the top of the order for Abigail Dayton, who flied to the center fielder Rodriguez her first time. Decides not to bunt. 2-0 the count on Dayton. Abigail Dayton out of Riverside, California. Takes a strike there. Patty Gasso was talking about the leadoff spot and using multiple players. Destiny, we kind of visited that, but
that ball with this kind of wind. Luckily that ball was kind of hit through the wind, but she was able to stick with it.
Oklahoma's making some loud outs tonight as well. Ellie McEnroe-Marinas singled and scored her first time. Third stolen base this year for Garcia. Three and 0 the count. First base is open. In the second. 2 walks and a hit here in the second. And Ailana Agbayani will bat for the second time. She bunted home a run back in the first. That was the third Sooner tally of the night. That one kind of rolls up to the plate.
Agbayani's a triple threat. She's able to bunt just like she executed her last at bat, that squeeze play, and she's able to really work the dirt as a slapper, but she can also stand in and send some balls through the gap.
2-0. Agbayani takes that one upstairs. So a walk means a fourth Sooner run. And we'll have a little conference out in the circle between Wilcox and Victoria Masters. This East Texas A&M team, Brittany Miller said, this is kind of like a second home for them. They've played a bunch at Loves Field. They played Kansas City and also Kansas earlier this season here at Loves Field, and the Sooners hosting that event, and played Oklahoma here last year. And the Sooners actually made a trip down to Commerce, Texas to play them this past fall. So they've gotten to know one another well. Gabby Garcia tonight is 2 for 2. Drove in a run in the first, and she scored in the first as well. Garcia, 7 home runs in her last 10 games, now a 13-game hitting streak. She drove in 9 runs last week. The SEC co-player of the week, Gabby Garcia. On third. An RBI double by McEnroe Marinas, an RBI single by Garcia, who is 3 for 3 and has driven in a pair tonight. And here's Sydney Barker. She singled in the first and walked in the second.
Gabby Garcia is so timely with her hits. Talk about her home runs against Arkansas, just timely hitting. When runners are on, I mean, I'd want her in the box for sure.
Barker takes that one, pops out of Wilcox's glove, but Pickering stays put at third. Here's Cassidy Pickering. She's been on base all 3 times tonight. Two and one now to Barker. Left, but the wind's not letting in.
Really seen her develop over the year that she's been here.
Leadoff hitter Emma Rodriguez struck out her first time. That was against Isabella Smith. Emma Rodriguez leading this team in runs. She's out of Little Elm, Texas, and came through Grayson College. This weekend, Oklahoma heads to Columbia, Missouri. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday at 5, Saturday at 2, Sunday at 12. As this one is hit foul and out of play. And Destiny, you were talking earlier this evening about when Oklahoma goes on the road, the attraction that they are.
Yeah. I love seeing the stands fill in different cities and different communities that they play in. I think it's so good for our sport, and you don't typically see that. And I think what Coach Gasso has created here at Loves Field and selling this place out with 4,000 seats weekend after weekend, and then getting to see that when they're on the road, those places sell out too. I think it's really good for our sport and just amazing to see the growth.
See the upcoming schedule for Patty Gasso and the Sooners. midweek action up in Wichita next week after the trip to Columbus. Switch some things up out there. That's Riley Zakay, who is playing in right field, taking care of that one. Also got, you see, Cheney Helton, who's patrolling center field, and out in left is Maya Bland. Bunt shown here by Maddie Kaysen. Kaysen grounded out to Gabby Garcia, the shortstop, her first time. And 2-1 to count as Monticelli deals a strike. Tried to hold up that swing, but she does foul it off. And 2-2 count now. Again, this one hit foul by Maddie Kaysen.
See Peyton Monticelli out there really getting behind in the count. This is the opportunity that Coach Gasso gives her to kind of see her work ahead and get a lot of her good pitches out of the way, get these hitters to chase.
Good battle here with Maddie Kaysen. Peyton Monticelli pitched for Great Britain's under-22 women's national team this past year. The third baseman. Did you have a pitch that was just your kryptonite?
Oh my goodness, I could not for the life of me lay off of a rise ball.
That's why you're talking about that pitch right there.
Yeah.
You're having flashbacks.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Stephanie Tapia is in.
Monticelli, I mean, she's throwing about 67 miles an hour, so it's tough to lay off of it. And I will say, as a slapper, when you're running towards it, doesn't make it much easier.
And it's coming up and in at you. So Tapia popped up to center field. Hannah Core was out there at the time, her first time up. One and two the count now on Stephanie Tapia. Such valuable experience for some of the young faces out there. Riley Zakay and Cheney Helton getting a chance to play in the outfield. You remember your first time out there? A little bit nervous. You come to a team that's already good, just trying to find playing time. What was that like, the whole process?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all starts in the fall, really. And I think now with the championship series that they do in the fall, it kind of sets you up for that. You kind of feel out, you get the feelers out and you understand where your competition is. And all of that starts so soon now. Back when I was playing, we didn't typically play against each other as much as they do now. We would play different teams, but I feel like the nerves get out of your system in the fall, and that's huge.
You've got the big matchup involving SEC teams is Florida State and Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And then this weekend you'll have Auburn and Texas, LSU and Georgia. Of course, Oklahoma going to be taking on Missouri. But Alabama on the road in College Station. All matchups where both teams are ranked in the top 25. In fact, that'll be the case for 3 of the 5 SEC series this weekend. Here's Corey Hicks.
It's a tough conference.
It's the depth of the conference.
I mean, some of these stats are crazy. Stolen bases, Alabama's leading at 76 on the season. That's a lot of stolen bases.
Corey Hicks walked in the first and grounded to shortstop in the third. Well hit to left field, and out the Lions scoring a run. This game's over.
Yeah, I think it's tough because I feel like their pitchers have done a decent job. They've just had to have that out. I think they've gotten themselves out of really tough situations. Oklahoma has left a ton of runners on, and then that error happened and allowed them to get to 8 runs. But I think for this pitching staff, they have been attacking these Oklahoma hitters and putting them in tough situations and then being able to get out of it.
Haley Montemayor struck out her first time. That was against over there. Did she used to laugh like that mid-game?
Depends on the score. No, she has fun out there.
Emi Mihi is 0 for 1, grounded out to Agbayani at second base, her first time up. And coming right after her, Peyton Monticelli trying to close the innings. Kirsten Deal for an inning.